Welcome everybody to Eye of the Serpent Tarot for another pick a card reading. So today's pick a card reading is a little bit of a common theme that you'll often see in pick a card readings on YouTube with just a little bit of a twist because I like to do things a little bit differently, as you know. So this is a version of what is an upcoming blessing or blessings for you, but I'm looking at a very particular kind of category here. What I'm looking at is the sort of blessing which might come out of a challenge, which might come very much out of left field, might come out of be an added bonus to something that you didn't sort of expect or whatever, but it's time critical. So I'm thinking about something that is going to come up to be seen and accessed and leveraged, say within 3 months at the most from when you're seeing this reading. And it's potentially sort of something, as I say, that you wouldn't necessarily have thought was coming. You wouldn't have been anticipating or working towards. So there are certain, and that it requires an action from you to claim it. So there are certain blessings that you will get, and they could be unexpected, but it requires nothing of you really, because you're already doing things that just make it happen. Like, say you're always in a lottery sort of draw with your friends at work every week, and then one week you win and you all get rich. That sort of something, like you've been doing what you were doing, nothing needs you to do something to change it. It just occurs, an external thing happens. So we're not looking at that kind of blessing. We're looking at one where your spirit team can see an opportunity coming up and want you to identify it and use it. And as I say, it could be a challenge or it could be just an energy. So for instance, we are going to look at things like astrology right at the beginning of this, amongst other areas that it could be coming in. And to give you an example of this, I know that whenever transiting Mars is in a difficult aspect to my natal Saturn, or vice versa, transiting Saturn's in a difficult aspect to my natal Mars, I have a higher than likelihood propensity to get backache, neck ache, muscle ache, all that kind of thing. But Saturn and Mars, when that energy is used productively, so you use the energy of Mars, which causes potentially the inflammation when it's a problem, with the discipline of Saturn, which causes the stiffness that maybe causes the inflammation again when it's a problem, when you use those two things productively, not only do you end up with something good coming out of it, but you also often avoid the potential, the back pain and so forth, because you're siphoning the energy. So that's one of the sort of things where I say, like, that something is coming up, an energy is coming up, and you grab it as a blessing and you use it in a way. So astrology is one way, but there could also be something you aren't sort of like looking at, something you're not considering, but Spirit's wanting you to think about it and pay attention, like pay more attention than usual. To actually identify what it is. So that's what we're trying to work out today, what's coming up in the next 3 months. And to help with the choice of piles, and of course you can always go to more than one, I'm using 3 different tarots, so maybe the different tarot draws you in. But I wanted to use the Judgment card because one of the ways that I typically interpret the Judgment card is when you get the calling and it's like a decision or an opportunity you have to take relatively quickly or it passes by. I sort of see Judgment and Death cards as 2 very big choice cards within the major arcana. With the Death one, I find that you usually have a bit more time to make the decision, or you can return to it later. But with Judgment, it's now or never. So that's the energy that we're looking into this. In the next 3 months, what might be coming up in one or more areas of your life that could be a blessing, but you need to actively identify and claim it. So we're going to look at what it is and how you would identify it and what you can do with it. So, as I say, the Judgment cards are being used. So for pile number 1, we're using the Spirit of Life Tarot. So that's the Judgment card there. For pile number 2, we're using the Highly Sensitive Tarot with its Judgment card. And for pile number 3, we're using the Elemental Crown Tarot. So we've got its Judgment card there as well. So it may be that one of these tarot cards and you get drawn to that in your tarot decks, or it might be the image does, or you might always choose a number, or you might always do a couple of readings. Whatever works for you, do that. The timestamps are in the description box below, and I'll see you there. Welcome, pile 1, to your reading. So you came to the reading with the Judgment card from the Spirit of Life Tarot. And it's interesting to look at this image because what I feel when I look at it, the angel, angels are often sort of looking down at humans and so forth and doing the clarion call in Judgment cards. But in this one, the angel itself is raising to go towards the sun, the life path, the opportunity, all of that kind of thing. And it looks like she's rising out of water. So it looks like she's rising out of an emotional situation to have the clarity to go towards something. So it doesn't surprise me that the energy with the cards here that are meant to give us a bit of an idea about the area or areas this blessing, this unexpected blessing that you need to claim is coming in, feel like it's about relationship or how you present yourself to the world in terms of your beauty, your attractiveness, and all of that kind of thing. And maybe a bit of a combination of both. Because around love, relationship energies, we've got courtship. So there could be a new admirer coming in. There could be actually with Venus and Saturn here, which suggests commitment, like the opportunity about an emotional commitment, that something that you've been doing on a more lighthearted level has an opportunity in the next few months to become more. But whether it's someone you've met already or someone you're going to meet, I think the Spirit wants to say to you that one or two things could be operating here. If you're looking for love, it's a very strong indication that there is an energy coming in that could be light, fun, etc., but it also could be very serious. Because with Venus and Saturn, when Venus and Saturn aspect around love, as I say, Saturn is often commitment, structure, stability. It may also be a breakthrough for you if you've found it hard, or if you're actually now going back out into the world to go back on the dating scene or whatever. So you could be breaking free from a Saturn energy, which has kind of like held you back, or commitments that have held you back and so forth. And now you're ready to explore. So it depends on who you are, but there's definitely a sense here around love if you're looking for that. If you're not looking for that, then I think that this career vocation energy might be picking up all of this, because we've got the trendsetter capitalizing on current trends. I feel there's a sense here about you having an aha moment about something that would make very good connections with other people and which would create something that was structured and beautiful and long lasting, because trends are very brief, but knowing what trends are and setting something in place has a capacity to grow. So I think it depends on who's come to the reading, but I feel for some of you this is about some sort of artistic or creative career, vocational sort of energy where you are picking up on the zeitgeist of the time. You've had this aha moment, having maybe come through a lot of emotional contemplation about what your career, your options, whatever it is you're trying to do is, and that will make great connections with a potential audience. And so there's a really good opportunity in the next few months to do that. Or it is about love, and maybe your career connecting to things that are new brings you into the orbit of somebody, or you are now being said that you have an opportunity now to set the trend about whether you have a light-hearted, fun relationship only, or whether you have something that is more serious. So I do think for many of you this is about relationship, but it is possible it's also about some sort of something artistic or creative. So hopefully that's given you a bit of an idea about whether you are at the right reading. So what we want to have a look at with tarot, we want to have a bit more of an idea about the nature of the blessing or blessings that are coming up. What do you specifically need to claim to actually activate this? And then what might cloud you seeing or understanding that there is this blessing? Because this does require active identification and claiming it rather than just letting it happen, as I said. So let's get a little bit more of an idea about what we're talking about. What is that angel rising to see in the sunshine? 10 of Cups reversed, 2 of Swords reversed, 7 of Cups reversed. So it's interesting. Yes, this is very much about having been within yourself, within your emotions, all that sort of thing. Now it's time to rise out. Ace of Pentacles for something new, a new opportunity. Page of Pentacles and deciding what you want to make of it. Okay. So for some of you, you may be actually ending a long-term relationship. So Venus and Saturn, they're operating as a kind of a separation, the separation of a long-term relationship. I'm going to talk through various options here, but that's the first thing I thought there. It's like finally making the decision, which you haven't yet made, but over the next few months, to separate out from one long-term relationship brings in the capacity to see with trendsetter what's coming in new and having a bit of fun on the dating scene and allowing yourself to be really realistic about what you're exploring before you make a commitment. But it does look like if that's the case, you will make another commitment. So I feel for many of you, if you've been in a relationship that's done its time and you've kind of just held on to it because it's the relationship you're in, but you do go, no, it's actually time to separate out. Or if you have separated out and you're sort of thinking, I'm not sure if I'm ready to do anything, this is about saying, yes, you've done a lot of the inner work. You're very realistic emotionally about this. This is why you could be out in the dating scene again, and something really beautiful is going to come in that has a great deal of capacity for you to choose if you want to commit to it. You don't have to. I think the balance of the trendsetter and then the Saturn energy is, it's kind of your choice here. For some of you, the blessing might be, you know what, I'm not going to commit to anything. I'm just going to keep it light. I'm going to leave the decisions about what I want longer term for later, and I'm just going to have fun. And for others of you, it might be, you know what, I don't really like to just go back on the dating scene and be doing all that. I want to find something I could commit to. Either way, doing that thing, going out there is the case. Now, if this isn't about you having left something, if you haven't already, then I think that this is maybe where there have been difficulties in committing or deciding what you wanted long term for yourself. The Saturn Venus energy there is triggering you to kind of, I understand what I want now. So as I say, I feel like this angel is rising out of the water. This angel is you rising out of the water, having understood the subconscious, all the emotional energies, and now you're ready to go towards a blessing. Aces are blessings anyway, and this is about a blessing that you could see could have a longer term outcome. So certainly if you have been seeing a few people or you've been seeing someone on a light level, you might actually be thinking, you know, over the next 3 months, maybe a commitment will come. Now, if it's not about love, then it's about a different business opportunity, because that's the other way you could read the Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, the trendsetter sort of thing. The time has now come. There might have been an idea that you had creatively or whatever, but the time was just not right for it before. It would have been blocked artistically, but now the time is coming and you can make the right connections to do it. So it could be either of those things, as I say, and I think it really depends on who comes to the reading. But this is about understanding that you are able to grab in the next 3 months, either time to have a bit of fun before you decide what you want to settle with emotionally, or time to really commit to something that you feel does have that longevity, or you're going to be liberated in some way to really follow what you want to do with your career in a way that you felt wasn't the time before. So what do you actually need to do? What is the action that is necessary of you to claim this blessing? Nine of Swords, Page of Wands, Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, it's all about timing. It's interesting the Wheel of Fortune fell where the trendsetter is. Three of Pentacles reversed, Six of Wands reversed. Okay. So I'm going to jump actually first to this being a creative energy, because this almost talks a lot about that, I think. But it could also be around love, and I will talk about that as well. I think if this is about you choosing to do what you really want to do creatively and with your vocation and building something, the first thing Spirit wants you to do is stop worrying about it. You've spent enough time worrying about it. You've done what you needed to do. It's time now to act. It's time now to say, what would I want to create? What would I want this to be? Because really the wheels are turning in the right direction. This is a really good time to come forward with what you have. So the first big thing is, don't get caught up in perfectionism where you never feel it's ready. It's okay to start taking something out. It's also got to be something that is your vision, not other people's vision. This is not a group thing. It's not a thing where other people and their critiques are what matter. In fact, don't get caught up in that. You know, you may have already got a little bit of sort of feedback. Don't go for too much, because this is your thing. And what's happening as a block potentially to this, and this is like Saturn can sometimes be like a block there, so you need to break through with Venus here, is that if you go for too many people's views on what you're doing, you may hear all their critiques and it may stop you feeling like you're ready. But Spirit is saying you are ready. You don't need to do a lot more work on this. It's now time to come and bring it out into the world. If it's around love, don't go off to your friends and ask them whether they think that you're making the right choice. Back yourself, because there's either some sort of competition around your friends, or your friends make you feel less than in some way, even if they don't mean to. You might worry again, am I making the right choice? But it's saying where your passion leads you is the right place to go. And if your passion leads you towards just having fun, just have fun. And if your passion leads you towards committing, commit. Either way, don't worry about what other people think, because this is like the timing is right for you. So what might cloud you seeing this? You know, because one of the things around this is, as I say, if you need to identify this, what could make you not see that this opportunity, this blessing is there for you? Two of Wands, Death card reversed, Three of Wands reversed, Knight of Cups reversed. Okay, all right. So, firstly, With Three of Wands reverse, it's a bit like Three of Pentacles reverse. It's saying other people's views might have made you doubt yourself or doubt this. So as I say, whether this is about a creative career thing you want to do or whether it's around a relationship, do not go and crowdsource views from your friends, because it stops you from seeing what's really there. Even if they mean well, they don't really know. They're not in your heart. They're not in what you're doing. They don't understand what you're doing. So looking for validation externally for something that should be coming from your heart and your creativity is something not to do. It'll get in the way. It's also saying delaying a decision is not a good thing. And because the timing is right, and as I said, judgment is you're going to need to move quickly. So prevaricating and delaying is a problem. You may, if it's a career thing or it's a creative thing, you might have two different directions. You might think, oh, I don't know which to decide. I'd almost say kind of have a go with both if that's the case, because that will sort itself out. The only thing that would be a problem is delaying it. And expecting the other person to come forward, other people to come forward, Knight of Cups, and make an offer before you've determined and you've gone forward and done something and made a decision. Like expecting, like a job offer to come or a contract to come for something creative before you've really made a decision what you want to do with it. That's not going to work. And if this is about love, you might have a couple of people that you're going out with. Courtship might be fun and you haven't made a decision. At some point you need to make a decision, and you need to make the decision. You shouldn't be just waiting on who's going to ask me first, because to get the blessing, it needs to be what do you want in your heart. So I think it's sort of like wanting the external world to come along and make the decision for you around this is the one thing that could get in the way, basically. And we all do this sometimes, but there's a really good opportunity around whatever this is coming in, and you're meant to kind of like claim it and grab it without worrying about what anybody else thinks. So how might you see the signs? So we're going to do a couple of things for that. We're going to get a couple of cards from the Lucid Dreams Metro deck for signs that you might see synchronistically or in dreams or in some other way. Then we're also going to draw some tokens from the Telltale Tokens for any other kind of information around signs to watch out for or any other information about it. So firstly, from the Lucid Dreams deck, we have theatre. So for any of you, this is creative or dramatic in some way. It's a very big sign. Like, you're meant to get your story out there. You've got it ready. Storytelling, art, drama, catharsis, putting on a show. Any of you are like, am I ready to do that? It's a big sign, yes. But otherwise, I think it is saying that you may, performative things may be a sign for you. You may have a dream that you're up on the stage presenting whatever this is. You may go to a theatre show and it has themes that are similar. You might meet someone at a theatre. Like any of those sort of things, depending upon what it is a potential sort of sign for you around this. And neon sign, ambition, fame, glamour, wealth, success, travel. And that's interesting with trendsetter. Like it is like, I think it's saying it's going to be really obvious. Like it's going to be really obvious. That's why you don't need everybody else to kind of like approve it or whatever. It's sort of like, it's almost flashing at you. It's almost like, yes, now, have the fun, do what you want, commit if that's what you feel, take your thing out onto the stage because everybody's going to see your name up in lights. Whatever it is, it's really happening at the moment. But you are meant to be ambitious. You are meant to set some trends. You are meant to create something out of that Venusian energy that has a heft. You are meant to have fun with it. I think it's not going to be hard to see it with the neon sign there. But let's just get a few tokens and see what else we get. Okay. So this looks like some sort of teddy bear or something, but it's interesting. When I first saw it, it looked like a star to me. So it's kind of working on both levels. Again, the sort of neon sign. You're meant to be the star of this. And I also feel like it's opening its arms, like the world is opening its arms. If there's anything legal about it, it's a very good time for dealing with that. Very good for dealing with the legal system. Scorpio, this is going into the depths. This is why I feel like this angel is rising out of the emotional depths. The Scorpio goes deep. Anything around this, around love, it'll be very passionate. It'll be very emotionally intense. That's probably why it feels like a neon sign. But if you're dealing with anything creative, it goes to a very deep level. But it's also very precise with a magnifying glass. And in fact, if anything that you're doing in this situation will be very clear and will be magnified. So maybe one thing to be aware of. It's like it is so deep, it's so strong that things are magnified in this period of time. I think it's happening so that you will see the opportunity and take it. But if you sort of feel this is so intense and I feel so kind of seen, like, can I deal with this? It will be for a period of time. You're navigating in the right direction, it's saying. This is a bus. You're going places. You're moving places. Maybe for some of you, you need to move or travel a bit to do it. We have a dog. So there's loyal friends, loyal people around you. It's not that your friends are bad. It's just that you don't need their advice right now. The moon, you need to just go within your own heart. The other thing I feel too strongly about this is about a relationship, is she's rising to the sun and this is the moon. Sun and moon together are the alchemical marriage. So I think it's a very big sign that if it's a relationship, it's a serious one. Even if it starts as fun, you're going to find something that's a really strong, good connection in the next 3 months. So that's pretty exciting. So you need to be kind of as balanced as possible when trying to grab a blessing or turn a challenge into a blessing, whichever it is. So let's just get actually got 3 chakra cards just to see what kind of chakra energy is important here. And is it balanced or is there something to think about? So firstly, you have the crown chakra. Underactive, I sense a lack of trust in the universe. This is probably why it kept saying you might go to other people to get validation. I think it's asking you to say, you're the angel in this thing. You're connected to the divine on this level. Do not feel you have to be second guessed. As I say, a lot of judgment cards have the angel talking to humans. This has you more as the angel. So understand that your sense about this is going to be more accurate than the committee of people around you who might normally tell you what you should do with your life. Then we have the sacral chakra. I feel like I radiate warmth. Yeah, moving towards the warmth. So that's wonderful for relationships. It's wonderful for anything that you might want to take out creatively. And that's very good for creativity. The sacral chakra is all around creativity. And we get the root chakra. So underactive, I am fearful. Don't be fearful. Saturn can make one fearful sometimes. Saturn's sort of like one of those interesting things that because of the gravity of it, you could feel fearful. But because of the gravity of it, you could feel fearful. But this is telling you that you're defying gravity. So do not worry about that. Just understand you might want to go and talk to everybody else, but really you're drawing in this energy. It's part of who you are. So understand that this is something that will lead with Venus and Saturn. This blessing will lead to something that is solid and secure, even if at the moment it's like, will it? I don't know. But like you've got to kind of rise to the occasion basically for that to occur. Okay, let's see a couple of wild cards around this. We'll use a kind of very everyday energy that you might experience as this blessing comes in, and then we'll use a sort of more fantastical one to get a little bit of 2 different feelings around that. So firstly, the trees. Okay. This could be, there's a number of things here. In Jungian archetypes, a forest is like life, so understanding this is very core to life. There's a sense there of foliage and growth and warmth. The sun is breaking through there, very similar to that. So all of this might be, this is a very natural thing, and to let it be natural. But there's also the person who doesn't see the wood for the trees. That might be again why this is having you rise above to actually see the terrain. So when you're not sure, it's almost like rise above it all, connect to your connection to the universe so that you can see the wood as well, so that you can really understand what is this about and feel more confident in your perception of it. And in terms of a more fantastical sort of energy around a wildcard energy for you. Wow, fallen angel, pride, black sheep. Okay. This is telling me why the fearful energy is there. We have the angel rising, okay. What this is telling me, it doesn't tell me you're going to fall. It tells me that's what you're afraid of. It tells me that whether it's in love or creatively, you have felt you were rising to the occasion before and it didn't work out, you fell. Or other people told you weren't good enough or something. You might have come from a family, where there was sort of like, you were told it was prideful to want to rise and so forth. I think this is a very strong indication that if you don't allow yourself to rise, if you live into that, you won't see the wood for the trees. You have to believe in your capacity to rise. This is a blessing that's coming in that's allowing you to do that. So don't let maybe programming from the past make you doubt, because this is not a time for doubt. This is a time where you're ready to bring in a blessing, but you may not see it because you sort of feel like other times you've tried, people have stopped you or people have thought you were kind of too conceited or whatever it might be, and none of that is true, pole one. Okay, so let's get you some other stars to guide you. We saw Venus and Saturn before. What else will help you? Virgo. So this is potentially around structured things, and then that fits with the Saturn area, around health, around the integration of things. It could be the integration of your creativity and your heart with what you want to create in the world, and integrating with the actual offering itself. The 12th house, a lot of this is psychically connected. You're going to feel psychic connections. It also says, when necessary, be very private about it. Don't show it to the whole world till you're ready. If this is a creative thing, you're meant to bring it out, but maybe like the way you formed it and what you're feeling when you're doing that, keep that to yourself. Again, don't let other people tell you what you should be feeling about it. And square, there is time for action. You can keep a lot of this private, but you're meant to act, because this is integrating something, integrating emotional, creative, love energies into something that you can actually structure and create as a blessing, as this is all about. Okay, so just to close out, I'm going to use the Blessed Be deck, and this is kind of to give an overarching area of blessing that this either contributes to or could be at its maximum, really what it is about. So it may seem very directly related to this, or it may be a suite of things that you're meant to have blessings around, but this is maybe the one that would be a bit unseen or you need to act more towards. So for you, oh wow, a blessing to find the truth. I think it could be either of those. It could be that you finding what you want in terms of love or creativity and how you are in the world, whichever this is finding the truth after maybe being programmed a bit to not believe in yourself. But it may also be, this may be a broader part about the truth, and this is the truth of your love life, or this is the truth of your creative life, but you are in a journey at the moment to find the truth on many levels. So depends on who comes to the reading, but either way, it's saying all along, this is the true thing. You can trust this, and that, I think, is what your spirit team wants to hear. So I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope that resonated for you. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, Pile 2, to your reading. So you came to the reading with the Judgment card from the Highly Sensitive Tarot. This is a very interesting depiction of judgment to me, because it looks as though it's a group of people coming together and maybe listening to a main speaker or something like that. There's an enormous amount of light and joy and revelation around it. So there's that kind of sense, but it has a sense of a group of people coming to listen, as I say, to a leader or something like that. And I feel like that's what this is about for you. Whether it is moving up the ladder as a promotion, like there is an opportunity that's coming, but you've got to grab it, you've got to understand it. So, like you might be in an organization and you might know your boss is about to leave and you might think, oh, I'm not sure if I'm ready to move up the ladder, but you actually are, and you're the natural choice for that. Or whether it's, it's time to think about other organisations where you could potentially move up the ladder for that. Or it could be stepping into a leadership sort of role, spiritually, or within a community group, or within your friendship group in some way. But there is something here. What Spirit wants you to know is that you have something to offer that others don't, that will take you to this position of like first amongst equals, if you want, or the next sort of level up and the leader, whatever it might be, whether it's in career or whether it's more generally. And it's understanding what you have to offer and how that makes you a thought leader or a leader in some way. There's many ways to be a leader. I remember somebody once commenting on my thing saying, you always talk about leadership like it's this wonderful thing, but lots of leaders aren't. And I agree, lots of leaders aren't. But number one, well, you would hope to go towards being the best type of leader, but also leadership doesn't necessarily always mean being in a leadership position. It could be a thought leader, it could be a work culture leader, it could be a community group leader where it's not, as I say, it doesn't come with any particular status. So it depends, it depends what you want. But whatever this is, Spirit is saying you've got something to offer that there's a beautiful opportunity coming up and you need to recognize that. And the thing for you is, this is the Jupiter and Saturn here is partly why you would make a fantastic leader. So it's partly why that energy is there, but it's also partly why you may be shy to move forward. Whether you have this in your chart, whether these things are going on astrologically, Jupiter and Saturn in a way are almost pull in opposite directions. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, growth. It is the planet that would take you up the ladder. Equally, so would Saturn in its own way, because it's about responsibility and authority and all that kind of thing as well, and status and legacy. But Saturn is more at its best, structure, stability, legacy. At its worst, it's limitation, depression, slowing everything down, constriction. Jupiter at its best is expansion, luck, promotion, moving forward. At its worst, it's too much expansion, overdoing everything. So this is saying that part of understanding this opportunity that you have, part of the understanding of the blessing, is that you will almost be pulled in two different directions around it. One part of you will see the great, beautiful warmth that you could bring in. The other part will see the responsibility. You may think, am I going to be able to win? This will be suggesting, yes, you will, but you've got to put yourself forward. So I feel like this is coming into, how am I a good leader? What do I have to offer that is different? In what group is it? What does this all mean? But there's something here about you stepping up, and that's the best way of using that energy, because you don't want Saturn to depress the growth, and you don't want the growth to be so much that you can't handle it. So that's going to be the challenge around it, but there's something that you have to offer that others don't have to offer, and they will look to you to offer. That's why the timing is right. So let's see a little bit more about the nature of the blessing with tarot. Then what do you actually need to do to claim it? And then what might cloud you from seeing the opportunity? So a little bit more about it. Seven of Wands reversed. Wheel of Fortune reversed. Eight of Wands reversed. Yeah, you doubt this, or you're worried about the speed or the way that it would happen. High Priestess reversed. Five of Swords. Okay. All right. One of the things, like I often say, there's that saying that the person who would be the best president of the United States is the person who doesn't want to be it. I often say that. It's often the case that the best leaders too are what they call servant leaders. So they aren't wanting to be leaders because they want to be boss or they want the status or the money. They would be wanting to do it to serve a group. I feel like that energy is around you. I think that Jupiter-Saturn is operating around that. But sometimes servant leaders don't fully back themselves, or they don't, because they're not ambitious in the way that some are. One of the reasons we end up with lots of bad leaders and issues within organisations is often the most ambitious and, quite frankly, sociopathic amongst us that decide to, I'm going to be boss because I want to just tell everybody what to do and so forth. So someone like you is really, really necessary. But it's saying that right now, this is something that you maybe feel it's not the right time, I'm not ready, I don't have the skills I would need, I just need to slow down. But what's going to happen? Something's going to shift on the chessboard. So if this is at work, someone's going to leave, as I say, and there's an opportunity that's going to open up, and it is the right time, and you've just got to back yourself. Or you're going to learn or see something. With the High Priestess reverse, sometime in the next 3 months, maybe you're going to hear about something. You might hear about how people see you. You might hear that you thought, that you were just a kind of team player, but people naturally listen to you. And it's situation, something's going to come to the surface that makes you think, okay, maybe I'm underestimating myself, and maybe the time is coming. But I feel like you take a very strategic view of it here, with the way the Five of Swords is portrayed here, playing a game of chess. It's kind of saying, if you're not sure, play the long game. What I think it's saying is, if you feel, I'm not sure if I'm ready for this, it's like you do have something to offer. Other people see it. Don't hold yourself back. Just say, okay, I'm prepared to do it, but I'm going to be very open about what I need in terms of support. I'm going to be very open about what I think I'm bringing and what I need from other people. I'm playing the long game here. I'm not going to just sort of come in and just lord it over everybody. I think that's sort of the energy around it. So what do you actually need to do to claim this blessing, pile 2? Two of Swords, Five of Cups reversed, 10 of Swords, Two of Cups reversed, Knight of Cups. Okay, I'm going to say for most of you, I think this is pretty specific. I think it is probably around career, as I say, some sort of community group, could be a spiritual group, whatever it is. There is something dramatic with departures and things like that happening. You'll know when this is happening. We are going to look at signs, but I think you'll know. And one of the things that it's saying is that don't let what seems to be a bit of a fallout around people. And it might even be you have a boss that you really like and they leave, and now they're saying you should put yourself forward, and you're thinking, I wouldn't have thought of that. But I'm mourning them going. That could be going on. Or it could be there's a lot of emotional stuff going on that is a bit dramatic. Don't let that dissuade you. Just make the decision, like, this is the time to move, because there is going to be an offer that will come through. Once you actually put the energy out there and you know what you have to offer, and this is also an offering, you have something to offer that would actually help with this energy around, the emotional fallout about whatever that's going on. So I think it's don't just stick to a decision, make the decision to move on. You don't have to have all the information. Understand there's something about the way that you deal with people and emotion that actually makes you particularly good for this. Back that and leverage the drama in a way that you come and say, I can fix this. That's what this is meant to do. Not just to kind of take advantage, but you genuinely can. That's part of the reason that this is the issue. Rise to the occasion in the sense of your skills and your offering, which have something to do with how you get on with people, emotional energies, and healing and calming down drama, I think. So what could cloud your capacity to see this opportunity? Two of Pentacles reversed, Page of Pentacles reversed, Queen of Cups, Strength. Okay. You don't know your own strength. You don't know the emotional resonance that you have fully, or you consider it as part and parcel of where you are or what you're doing at the moment. You hadn't really planned for something of more responsibility or more status or whatever it might be. So there's a possibility of like what clouds it is you're not seeing that yet. Or you may even think it's an act of strength not to get involved in all of this, but you actually do need to. But the big thing here is that you generally don't make material decisions, and you don't have long-range plans. That's what it kind of looks like. You're not an overtly ambitious person, and as such, you're not fully seeing the strengths that you bring. So what I will say to you, that won't stop this from happening. There will be the sign and the opportunity, and Spirit really wants you to take it on because you're the right person for it, and you're partly the right person for it because you weren't planning and strategizing and maneuvering to have this happen. It's just your natural strength that's made it happen. But your own lack of ambition, in a way, is part of the reason why you might not see it. But it's there. And let me tell you, I am not a particularly ambitious person, and I actually rose quite a lot within my career, and it was largely I was just in the right place at the right time, and it required what I could bring to the table. But it wasn't that I was really, I wanted to be a senior executive or whatever. It just kind of happened. I feel like you're a bit similar. I think this is like, just back yourself and know the opportunities are coming for a reason, and people see something in you that's true, even if you haven't really thought about yourself that way. So let's have a look at some signs for you. So we're going to get a couple of cards from the Lucid Dream Metro deck, and then we're going to use tokens to see what else might be sort of signs or some other information about this for you. So firstly, this could be dreams, synchronicity, could be anything like that. Basement, unconscious feelings, unresolved issues, repressed memories. So you might dream about being in basements. You may think you have to go deep within. You might see a movie that's about something in a basement. This is saying that there's something deep within you that this is asking you to look at and reconcile so that you can move forward with what you can do. What of your abilities have you kind of locked away in a basement, and why? And airplane, yeah, get up in the air, drive, ambition, motivation. It's there. This is the Jupiter Saturn. This is Saturn and this is Jupiter. They're kind of balancing with each other. You do need to understand the Saturnian stuff. What does responsibility mean to you? Where has there been limitation before? Why might you limit it? What's your attitude to power and leadership and so forth? But equally, Jupiter's asking you to sort of have drive and ambition, to be motivated, to rise above it all. You know this. I think you know Saturnian energy really, really well. I think it's time for you to be a little bit more Jupiter. That's the energy I'm getting. So let's have a look at some tokens for you. Okay. Right, we have a present, a gift. So this is something that's coming to you. You're meant to have this gift. You're meant to have this opportunity. And a rocket, yeah, you're meant to rise. This is your time. There could be a love connection associated with this that comes with it, or it could just be your heart energy is one of the reasons why. We have a cup of coffee. For some of you, that's how it's going to happen. Somebody's going to sit down with you and they're going to say, this is an opportunity, you're the right person for it. It's like a career discussion, or as I say, you're in a community group and someone's saying like, this is coming up. It could even be the person who's leaving who's saying to you, I think you're the one who needs to take the baton on from this. I want to talk to you about it. It feels like there's something very personal happening to let you know it's happening. And we've got a hat. Yeah, what hat are you going to wear? This is all about that. Like, who are you going to be next? There's some really great opportunities to rise, in whatever way, and to use it the way you would want to use it. So let's look at some chakra energy to see what you need to balance to best take advantage of this opportunity or blessing. Solar plexus. Underactive. I do have a victim mindset right now. Yeah, you're kind of seeing, I don't know if this doesn't feel like victim, but you may feel, I think it's more likely in this that you sort of see leadership as almost being kind of like of the bullying class, and you're one of the people, but and that can in a weird way create you and the other people into that victim mindset. You're ready to step up and do something. You can actually do something about this, but you might have felt overlooked before, and this might be a kind of under sort of underlying energy with this as well too. But it's important to sort of see that there's something you can do and there's activity that you can do. That's a bit of this Queen of Cups and strength in what you're not seeing. If you're not seeing your strength. We also have the sacral chakra, underactive. I feel lonely. You might worry that if you move up the ladder, you're going to feel lonely. I feel like you're very much a person of the people. So you may feel that doing that would make you lonely. It won't though. You just go to another level and you're dealing with other people and you're still going to be connected with other people. But it's sort of something to think about. Like why, this is the basement stuff. Why do you move into this Saturnian level? What have you seen around these circumstances that make you feel that way? Because you have the ability, the strength, the emotional acuity to have really lovely heart-centered connections while you take advantage of this. And then we have a heart chakra. Balanced, I love. Yeah, because you do love your emotional energy. This is what people are saying is very, very beautiful. So you need to kind of back it and trust it, pole 2. So let's see a couple of wild card energies as well too. Firstly, one sort of on the very everyday, and then one on a little bit fantastical that might also tell you that this blessing is coming in. The tattoo. This is something that you would want to almost wear on your skin. This is something about who you are. It's very connected to your identity. This is part of the reason why it's so sensitive for you. But this is a natural evolution for you, and it's something that like everybody sees it. Everybody sees this in you. It's just like you're wearing it as a tattoo. So I think it's understanding that that's real. When enough people are saying to you, you're the person for the job, you're the person for this position, believe it. Because you're wearing... It's a bit like wearing your heart on your sleeve or on your sort of forearm or something. And so you're already showing it. I think that's what this is saying. One of the wild cards here is that you're showing while this is happening, even if you don't realise it about yourself. And hot chocolate, flirting, new connections, friendship and feeling, get together. There could be a love connection that comes out of this. I mean, I do feel that a lot of this is about some form of leadership role, but it could bring love in if you're feeling lonely. But I also feel like with the coffee there, I feel like there's a good connection. I feel like for many of you, it's going to be something that you're offered in a very almost social way like that. And then everything else is done behind the scenes. But like that, but that's because you've been recognised. Like that's what it feels like. I don't think it's going to be that hard for you to recognise this. I think that's why that's showing up there. And this is more about you getting ready to accept it, because I think you're going to have an offer made to you. I think something like that's going to occur. So just know that it's coming though. So the point about this is to be ready for it. Let's give you just a little bit more astrological support. Waxing crescent moon, the setting, set your intentions. Yeah, that's what you should do now. Knowing that in the next 3 months or so, something's going to come in. And I think it is like an offer, or at least it's setting you on the ladder towards something. What would you want it to be? If you have some ambivalence about having authority, having status, having power, whatever it might be, being a leader, what would you want it to be? Start to set those intentions. Second house, you're meant to actually allow yourself to create the good life. There might be a little bit of you that's a little bit moralistic about this. Actually, you might think, I'm not all about money and status and power. But like this is a very Taurian energy. There's no reason why you shouldn't enjoy the fruits of your labour. So in your intentions, think about what kind, I always say with the second house, what kind of life do you want in accordance with your values? Align those two things and you can't really go too wrong. And we also have the waxing gibbous moon, adjustments, clarify your direction and intention. So think about it, set it, and be ready to sort of shift and change as circumstances allow, and you'll be able to really make the most of this. Okay, So what we're going to do is we're going to finish with an overall blessing. So this is a blessing that's coming in. This blessing that we're doing, it could be a better way or a higher order version of what this is, or it could show a blessing overall that's occurring that this is a subset of. So it just depends on what we get. So for you, a blessing for unity where once there was division. I wouldn't mind betting for many of you it comes out of something like that. This could be changes and shifts that provide for you taking a leadership role within a group, a workplace, or whatever it is. There's also a possibility here, if there's a flow-on effect of this, of finding love, then as I say, this is the overarching thing where you're working on all that sort of stuff, and then you find a different form of unity, which is emotional as well. But this is part of the thing. One of the reasons this is happening is, as I said, servant leadership energy. You are someone who comes from the heart, and you will be much more likely to bring unity than division. But it did look like there was some drama around it all to get there. So I do think that this is maybe a subset of a broader blessing that's coming in for you. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, Pile 3, to your reading. So you came to the reading with Judgment from the Elemental Crown Tarot. And this is probably the closest to the traditional sort of one, in that we've got an angel, obviously with some sort of a clarion instrument to send information down, to make an announcement, something like that. So there could be something about making an announcement here. The thing that I think is interesting is that I feel this is your opportunity to speak, where you maybe either didn't feel you could, or where you're speaking up for someone else, or where you are announcing a connection that cuts through gossip, innuendo, brings stability, calm, peace, unity to a situation. Because over here we have gossip as an energy around this, but then we have probably the most unifying balance, sun and moon. If this is about love, then it could be that you are about to be able to make an announcement about a connection you have that people have gossiped about and been unfair about, and you're able to claim it, and you have the stability for it. So, if you've been going out with someone and people have been gossiping, or if you've had to keep it a bit quiet for some reason, you were working together and now you're not going to be working together, or you're going to, move in together or get married or something like that, you're able to cut through that, tell the truth, and bring the stability to it. If it's not about that, if it's not about you in a relationship and cutting through all of those sort of issues, then I think that you're going to either be able to stand up for yourself about something where there was a lack of unity and a lack of clarity, and you're finally going to be able to cut through and have your day in court, so to speak, not literally in court necessarily, though if any of you are looking at going to court, this is a very good sign that you'll cut through that, you'll get a good balance, and you'll get the stability you want. Or you might be speaking up for someone else who has been gossiped about, or there's been something like that going on, and you're the force of balance and the voice of reason that can bring in the stability. In a workplace, you may finally be able to announce that you're moving up the ladder after people have been kind of speculating for ages about who's going to get it and why, and you'll bring a lot more stability and harmony in. So there's something about you being able to say something. I think the overarching energy here is that in the next 3 months, there's an opportunity coming up for you to make an announcement of some form, whether it's about a relationship, a career move, standing up for somebody, having your say on something that's been, gossiped about, or whatever it is, that's coming up as an opportunity for you. And I feel like you stand very tall, very righteous. Everybody knows that what you're saying is true. It's harmonious. It's the thing that makes sense. And as I say, if it is around relationship, it's exceptionally powerful, because the sun moon is like the alchemical marriage. So whatever it does, it brings stability to you or to others. So that's pretty interesting. I feel that some of you, it'll be interesting to see what we get with the tarot in more detail, but I feel that some of you are going to actually be champions for others. Some of you might be lawyers or something like that, or advocates or mediators. If so, there's something a bit nasty that's being dealt with, and you're going to be able to cut straight through that and get to the harmony that's necessary. So it sort of depends. So we'll try and look at this from a number of different levels, but we're going to use tarot. We're going to look a little bit more about the nature of the blessing or opportunity. We're going to look at what you need to do to access it. And we're also going to look at what might you miss, or what might cloud you from seeing this opportunity within the sort of 3-month time frame that we're talking about. So a little bit more about it. 10 of Cups. Certainly if any of you are wanting to make an announcement about love and moving in, what's going to happen. Four of Cups reversed, Ace of Wands, Two of Swords, the Fool reversed. Okay. So I'm going to go to love first simply because we've got the Ten of Cups to start with. There could be for some of you, you might get proposed to, you might make a proposal, you might decide with your partner to move in, you might decide to have a child, like with an ace there, as well as a Ten of Cups. That could be, it could be making a announcement about that. Whatever it is, if it's about love, it's something that brings stability. It's something that brings longevity. It stops people speculating about you, your partner, or the situation in some way, whether it's friends, family, or whatever. And it breaks through some emotional block that's existed. So, as I say, for some of you, it could be something like, you work together, you were sort of seeing each other. There was a little bit of behind the scenes gossip, but you're in an organisation where you couldn't say that you were together, and now one of you's moving on from that organisation, you're able to announce it, something like that. But, or it could be, as I say, lots of family being going, well, when are they finally going to have a child? That could be coming through, who knows. But whatever it is very, very good. And the only thing that you need to be aware of, which I think is why, if it's around that it's a sort of a situation of you need to grab hold of this and make the decision, is that there's something about this situation, if that's the case, where you're not sure how the news is going to be received because you've maybe talked about something like this before and you kind of know what the people listening are like. But I think regardless, you're standing very tall in it. Even if it was your friends kind of like you never approve of somebody that you want to be with, doesn't matter. Like this is the right decision, and this is the thing that's going to bring the harmony and stability for you. If it's within the family, it could be that you will find more unity than you expect, but you might be sort of with someone who's very different culturally. And maybe that's been an issue before, so you're not sure about that. So there could be something like that going on. Now, if it's not about love and it's about something like a cause or something, it comes very much from the heart, you're going to bring in something much better than what was before. Move out of this sort of murky area where things are not as they seem. You have almost like the fire of truth, like a double blessing really, because any ace is a blessing, particularly when it's upright, and then we're talking about blessings anyway. And I think that this is all about you knowing the right time to come forward and how to say it, because you have that ability to do it. So you will stand righteous, even if you don't have all the information. You have enough information, and you know what you're dealing with the people. So people aren't really going to be able to argue with you if that's what this is about. So what do you need to do to claim this blessing? Eight of Swords reversed. Two of Wands, so moving on from the Ace of Wands, like taking an action. Strength reversed. The High Priestess. Nine of Cups reversed. Okay, so there's a few things here. Let's talk about it as if it's a relationship first, and then we'll talk beyond that. This is about a relationship that you're going to announce, that you're together with someone, and cut out all the gossip or everybody's viewpoints or whatever. First thing is just to be liberated, to be able to say it and to say we're moving forward together. We've made this decision. Not to let anybody pushing back get in the way of the strength, and not to make it, it's almost like you make the announcement, and here there's almost a big bullhorn, but you don't have to make it as big as that. You just have to say, this is what we're doing, and that's it. Don't enter into discussion. If there's gossip about it, don't get involved. Don't do anything that draws away from what you're doing. Know that you are very, very sort of psychically connected, and this is a very good connection. So just trust in that and know that, but also keep what you want to keep private. Don't tell everybody about all that you see in this. Like you may know this is my soulmate. You may know all of those things, but maybe don't tell everybody everything. Just say, this is what we're doing, because keep the rest of it private, because it's a very precious thing. If this is about you either getting your day in court about something or standing up for someone else, yes, just speak your truth. You're on the right path. Don't let anything make you feel, don't let gossip or whatever response back, just ignore it really. And again, you don't need to show everything. You just need to show enough to make the point. The rest will look after itself. So what would potentially stop you either recognizing this opportunity or taking it up? That's interesting. I dropped the cards. Drop the cards. It might be a pivotal point for some of you where you're kind of working out like almost strategically. Are all my cards in a row? Do I have all my ducks in a row? Are my cards ready? That kind of thing. Okay, what could make you stop or not see it? The Lover's reverse could be past relationship issues if it's around love. The Chariot, the Nine of Pentacles, the Seven of Swords. Okay, I think the main thing, let's say firstly around relationships, the main thing that could do it, as I say, there's sort of past energy here. You might be at the point where you feel you can do this, but there may have been a relationship before that you thought was the one and you ended up being alone. It wasn't quite what it seemed. So you may doubt yourself. Now, this is why Spirit is saying don't doubt it. But you also don't need to explain this to everybody. So if somebody sort of says, oh, you thought that before and look what happened, just don't engage in it. They don't need to know. Other people don't need to know. So it could just be that you've kind of been at that point before, it didn't work out and you doubt it. But I think Spirit is trying to say don't doubt it in this case. If it's around, as I say, speaking your truth or helping someone else, then there's a lot of, everything moves very quickly or could move very quickly and be very divisive. You could be in a very divisive environment and you may have felt your strength is staying separate from it because it looks like there's a lot of untruth with all the gossip or whatever. But again, I feel like it's saying you're the person who can actually bring this together. You can rise above that. So, but of course you can decide not to take this blessing, but this blessing looks like you can do a lot of good and you'll be able to sort of shift the dial. If it's around something that's gossipy and nasty, it is gossipy and nasty, and you have to be prepared to move forward. And part of you might think, oh, do I really want to be involved? But I think this is part of who you are. This is you becoming who you're meant to be. So it's important to embrace the opportunity. So let's get you some signs. So we're going to start first with a couple of cards from the Lucid Minds Metro deck for sort of signs, synchronicities, dream signs or whatever that this could be coming through, to be keeping an eye out for this. Then we're going to use tokens to see either some other information about it or other signs to look out for. Dance. Exercise, movement, victory. Well, this is certainly saying victory, achievement. You may actually maybe like something at a dance or some sort of social occasion where you can actually sort of come out and show that you're with this person, that kind of thing, and take it out of the realm of gossip and show that the sort of harmony and the fluidity and the beauty of it all. That's a possibility. For some of you, actually, this could be coming out. And that's a beautiful thing, and do it. Do it. Celebrate you if that's the case. Okay, and then another sign. Secret room, self-discovery, personality, memories, hidden resources. Okay, this I think is sort of showing that this is the coming out and showing the world, and this is that you've held something secret before. But it's like maybe if you dream about secret rooms, you dream about any dream you have actually where it's in a house or something, and they say that's kind of aspects of you. So the secret room is what you keep secret, what you keep private. This could be you having kept secret your power to come forward and be the champion for others, or it could be a relationship that you kept secret. But you'll know it's kind of time to think about bringing it out and displaying it if you get those sort of synchronicities. Let's have a look at some tokens. Okay. So we get a wheel. I always think this is like things are moving forward. I think this is very much Chariot. This is moving forward. Now, this is interesting. We've got what looks like a family. There's definitely a sense for anybody that this is about a relationship or making a thing around a relationship. You're going to have a harmonious family. And if you have issues around your family with this, they will come to see this is the right direction for you. But you do wonder with this bomb about to go off, is this going to be a bit incendiary? So that's interesting. I think that's with the ghost here, that fear is more illusory than you think, but know that you feel that way. Whatever happens, there's an umbrella. So if there's a little bit of emotional fallout, that it can be fine. You're not going to be ghosted, I'm also getting. I don't think that, even if people, have been gossiping or don't approve, you're not going to be ghosted. This is, it's a telephone. I had it upside down. It's a telephone. So a call may come through, the call of the judgment thing. An important call might tell you that this is coming through. You might hear about the gossip or whatever. It could be sort of like what's going around by text or whatever. But, you are protected. You won't be ghosted. This is the right direction for you emotionally. And if you're trying to help someone else, I think that you will be the protection from all of that energy and help bring harmony in. But something's going to trigger it with the call. You're going to hear something. That's probably why we have the High Priestess as well. Something's you're going to hear something to know this is the time. I mean, it could also be, somebody who calls you and asks you out or asks you, to marry them or something like that. Anything like that could occur. So let's have a look at a couple of, or 3 different sort of areas around chakras. So what kind of chakra energy do you need to recognize, balance, deal with, or whatever to most take advantage of this upcoming blessing? So firstly, we have the throat chakra. Oh, underactive. I talk, but I am shy. You may think, how could I be the person who makes this announcement? Maybe it's a dance, if this is an announcement about you being together, let it, come down and dance with your partner and make it clear in that way. It might also be that, even if you are shy about this, you are the person who has the ability, the clarity, the balance to speak up. We get the crown chakra. I sense higher consciousness, balance. Yeah, because you're connected to what the truth is. And solar plexus chakra. Overactive, I do get hyperactive. Maybe that's why the dance. It's do sort of things if you're not sure, do sort of something where you got kind of excited by what you're getting coming through. Do it in some sort of display way potentially, or just kind of get very energized before you sort of go forward and say what you're going to say. I think it's also showing when it's really working, you're going to really start moving fast. And there's nothing wrong with that. Let's have a look at a couple of wildcard energies to be aware of. Firstly, kind of on the everyday and then the sort of more fantastical. So an everyday wildcard energy around this blessing for you, pile 3, is, the existential crisis. Now that's interesting. I think there's something to say with the gossip energy. This is whether it's coming out, whether it's announcing a relationship, whether it's jumping into the relationship, and going, I actually back this one. I know it's the right one. We're going to announce it to the world. Whether it's standing up for people, this is really key to who you are. And understanding that this is about you finding out who you are and finding out your own strength and finding out your destiny. But it might have come out of sort of something that felt bad. I did have a feeling for some of you, as I say, I feel like either you or someone else might have been maligned in some way, unfairly spoken about. And it's this allows you to stand up and tell the truth, and you will win because right is on your side. But it was almost like you're forced to do it because of that, because something precious or something true needs to be said against gossip or something like that. It's not going to be everybody. For others, this is just whatever this is so important that it feels a bit overwhelming. But just move forward with it. And then the other wild card, the more slightly fantastical one from the Blue Dragonfly deck is, the cherry on top, finishing touches, satisfaction, conclusion of a project. So you're going to be successful here. It's going to be what you want it to be and whatever thing is coming out. And there's going to be sort of more. There's going to be even more to it. It's really special. It's you get the cherry on top. So even if it feels whoa, am I ready for this? It's yes, and it's the cherry on top as well, which is very encouraging. So let's get you some other astrology, just for some other star guidance around it as well. So I feel this is if you stand up for something or you stand up for the truth, not only will you win, but you will be, your strength and your true self will be seen as a result of it. So we have trine. It will be easier than you expect. That's another thing. Virgo, it integrates various things. It's a healthy thing to do. It's sort of well structured. And there's sort of serving others associated with this as well with Virgo. And the 8th house, it's very, very sort of psychic. It's, as I say, if this is a relationship, it's a very powerful one with the sun moon. It's there's sort of karmic stuff there, soul twin, that kind of thing. But otherwise, you're bringing something to the surface that needs to be brought to the surface. get past the gossipy energy that could be 8th house and like integrate it and make it more healthy, and it will be easier than you think. Okay, so to finish off, we're just going to get another blessing card. This is from the Blessed Bee Oracle, and it's basically going to be either another aspect of this, or it could be a bigger blessing that this is a subset of. So it could be either of those sort of things. But it's just meant to kind of close out the reading for you. So for you, a blessing on a resolution. Yeah, this is going to, I think there's a resolution associated with this. I think that whether it's you standing up for yourself or for other people, you're going to resolve the issue and bring harmony and stability. If you are looking for, do I commit to this relationship and do we announce it to the world? Yes, it resolves all of that. Any of the gossip, any of the other rubbish that's going on around this is gone after this is done, because you stood in your strength. So whatever it is, go you, I'd say, because I think you're a very important voice of truth and of harmony in the situation. So I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope that it resonates for you. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings.